Okay, Aaron gave.
Song. Get that. That'd be exciting stuff.
If you feet in elevation.
All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Thursday, November 16th, 2023 Boone County Board meeting. We will begin with an invocation. I will lead the Pledge of Allegiance, and the invocation will be given by Board Member Tom Walberg, please. All rise, please. Thank you.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Lord, thank you for the people here this evening, our wonderful Boone County staff and board members. Please give us the knowledge and patience to conduct county government. Thank you, and pray that you watch over our men and women who wear the uniform as they serve and protect our country with all the conflicts in the world going on today. And in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Right. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll, please?
Rodney Riley,
Here.
Ryan Curry,
Here.
Ray Larson,
Here.
Brent Mueller,
Here.
Ryan Schneider,
Here.
David Wiltsey, okay, Carl Johnson,
Mostly here.
Melissa Patterson,
Here.
Tom Walberg,
Here.
Sherry Branson, here, Dana Logston,
Present.
Marion Thornberry.
Here.
Okay.
All
right.
right, quorum. Thank you very much. 3.1, I need a motion to approve the agenda, please. Motion by Mr. Snyder, second by Mr. Mueller. Any discussion on the agenda? Seeing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We will move on to 5.1, public comment. Whoops. It's a recognition. Public comment, 6.1, I'm sorry. All right. 6.1, public comment. I have some sheets here. We will begin with Mr. Steve Hendy. Mr. Hendy, if you'd approach the podium, please. Identify yourself with name and address for the record. I'll begin in 3 minutes when you finish that, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Steve Hindy, 43W799 Oak Leaf Drive, Elburn, Illinois. This is a very special night because tonight the Boone County Board is set to partially tear down the First Amendment, the pillar of American democracy. According to rodeo supporters, it's all about security and protecting the county's YouTube account. I guess those rodeo supporters have forgotten that we have the county's email showing that content is the concern, nothing else, just content. The security claim was bogus from the beginning. We could send the video through a link on an appropriate internet platform, just like board member Elisa Patterson did last March. As for the YouTube account, let's see. Preserve the First Amendment or preserve the YouTube account. Preserve the Constitution that brave Americans have fought and died for, or preserve the YouTube account. Let's go with the YouTube account. What about liberty and justice for all? Didn't you people just pledge allegiance to the flag? I guess we need to change that to, I pledge allegiance to YouTube. And what about your prayer to God at the beginning of tonight's meeting? You're protecting people who illegally brutalize, injure, and kill God's creations for entertainment. Are you mocking God? At the last ad hoc committee meeting, I named Detective Robert Austin with the Will County Sheriff's Office as someone who can tell you firsthand about the other criminal activities associated with these private rodeos. Underage drinking, drunk driving, drug trafficking, drug overdoses, prostitution, weapons, and more. How many of you rodeo supporting board members or state's attorneys called him? The answer is none. Board members and state's attorneys and police departments in other counties are working to better their communities. Meanwhile, Boone County State's Attorney and some on this board have betrayed Boone County citizens, and tonight we'll trash the First Amendment to protect an illegal criminal enterprise. Real Americans on this board will vote no tonight. Real Americans on this board will say there's a better way, and there is. Stop the illegal animal abuse. You stop the illegal animal abuse, and at the same time, you stop the crimes against people. And you don't have to trash the First Amendment to do it. That's what you call a no-brainer. Good evening.
All right, next up I have Dara Mogenis. Dara, could you step up? Your full name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes.
Good evening, all. Dara Mogenis, 10861 Spring Road, Garden Prairie. We've done some due diligence on our part, doing some phone calls to 6 different county boards, or not county boards, counties. LaSalle County. We're speaking in regards to public comment and what they allow or don't allow. LaSalle County can use the equipment and flash drive is allowed to bring in. DeKalb County, we can use their equipment. We can even use PowerPoint. Public comment for Ogle County. Equipment is compatible and as long as the equipment is compatible, it will be allowed. McHenry County. Public comment, there are 3 minutes. Yes, flash drive is allowed and equipment will be able to be used as long as you sign up beforehand. Kane County. Jane says, yes, thumb drive is as long as it's presented ahead of time and you sign up before. Lee County. Becky said, not sure, she'll have to get back to us. Did not get an answer, but she thought that any connection through a Zoom or another way would definitely be able to be allowed to watch a video or a PowerPoint presentation. With all due respect from each and every one of you, I want you to think about what the taxpayers in the future would have to potentially lose just because of this incident that may or may not be the reason for you to deny tonight's or to take away the right for us to have video or PowerPoint presentation for a 3-minute speech. We are the taxpayers. The equipment is ours. We have paid for it. If you can't find a way to work around this to allow us to do what we would like to do for the 3 minutes safely for the equipment and appropriately for us to do, then I don't think everyone did their homework in allowing this to pass. I would like to pass out the list so everyone can see who we talked to at what county. There's 2 there. Thank you. Not your head, sure. Thanks, Derek.
All right, thank you, Dara. Next up is Matt Mogenis. Matt, your full name and address, please, for the record, and I'll start the 3 minutes when you're finished.
It's been a while since I've been up here. My name's Matt Mogenis, 10861 Spring Road, Garden Prairie, Illinois. I'm here to talk, as you can imagine, about the proposed changes to public comment. Just to give you a frame of reference, I've been in IT for almost 30 years. So the individual, I believe at the last meeting, who worked for the county in IT, about the only concern I agree with is the security. That's a valid concern. But he also proposed some other options that could easily accommodate people using your equipment from the outside. I do this for a living. I often have to come up with solutions for people that come in for the outside. So this is not rocket science. This is done every day, many companies. It's not the end of the world. So I do agree with his concerns. The other concerns about YouTube are pretty laughable. YouTube's not the only game in town. There's many other services that provide streaming. And if it's that important, I don't understand why you'd use a free service that could take your videos down at any time. That's just almost laughable. Any business would have a service that they pay for or can control that content. So if you're worried about your content being deleted, YouTube's not a viable option. That's almost ridiculous. So I don't know why we would be opposed to videos. There's a saying that a picture's worth 1,000 words. A video's probably worth 10,000 words. I have 3 minutes to make my point up here. That's not a lot of time to get a point across. So in this day and age with cell phones, they can take pictures and record video. Why wouldn't you want to see the videos? Why wouldn't you? Unless you're afraid of the content. What's so wrong with the content? And, I'm not up here spewing garbage. I'm trying to show you or make an impression on what I'm seeing. I can do that more effective with a video, a PowerPoint, or whatever. But if you lead, it's interpretation when I'm up here with my words. Some of you may not even listen to what I'm saying. So with a video, that's much harder to discredit. So I'm up here fighting for future people that may want to show what's going on in the county. And by discounting that, I think you're losing out on a lot. So as again, I said, I've got 3 minutes to talk up here. I don't even know where I'm at right now, but I could play a video that could probably explain a lot more than what I'm trying to explain. But I don't understand why you wouldn't want to see the videos in the first place. YouTube, again, that's just kind of laughable. I don't buy that excuse. Anybody who does is ill-informed. There's other streaming services. Some are free. They're as cheap as $20 to $100 a month. I don't know if that's in your budget or if that's even anything you want to consider. Let's see what else. I'm sorry, I'm looking through my notes. So I think as a board, you should be worried more about providing solutions instead of limiting things or providing excuses of why we can't do that. I've been up here 18 months and I hear a lot of we can't do, we won't do. I don't know what we're afraid of, but it's really kind of sad. You're the board, you make the rules. But all I hear is we can't do stuff. Am I done? All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. All right, next up is Gracie Robles. Gracie, would you step up to the podium, please? Your full name and address for the record. I'll start when you're ready.
Gracie Robles, 289 Irene Road, Kirkland, Illinois, 60146. Good evening to the members of the board. The last time I stood here before all of you was in May when I talked about how disappointed I was with the motion that was made and approved in April that reconsidered the March 16th vote. I am here today because I know that over the last few months, I'm hearing a lot from a handful of people about the Mexican rodeo issue. I want to make sure that you know that this issue is still very important to myself and the Hispanic community of Boone County as well as surrounding counties. One of the things being said is that Boone County has done nothing. I would have to disagree. A horse abuser from an event in October 2022 was charged and found guilty earlier this year. Property owners at that same location were also charged and found not guilty. The biggest thing being done is that an ad hoc committee was formed by the chairman to further discuss and review rodeo and animal show concerns. It may be going at a slower pace than hoped for, but something is being done. As many of you are aware, I am on that ad hoc committee. We have now met 6 times since early August. I've stated many times before, I am not a public speaker, and the process of having to defend our sport and tradition has been very daunting. Many times at the ad hoc meetings, I have felt frustrated, puzzled, bullied, and even personally attacked by the public that was present. Some of the things I have said have been misinterpreted or taken out of context. I would like to make very clear that we, the rodeo property owners, do not condone or support the abuse of animals at our events. We have had animal control, the sheriff's department, and even some of you board members present at all of my rodeos this year. We had to call our vet on at least one occasion because of an animal injury, and he was there in less than 30 minutes. After each rodeo, I called Boone County staff to ask if there had been any complaints from any of the departments, sheriff, animal control, or the state's attorney's office. There were none. The 3 board members that attended my events all talked to myself or a member of my family as they were leaving, and all had positive things to say, at least to our face. Like I was pleasantly surprised. It's a lot more families than I thought. It's not what I was expecting. What beautiful animals. This was a great event. I firmly believe that if incidents of abuse were occurring, all of these board members would have been the first to call sheriff and animal control. We have a security team on site that would escort a person out of the arena and the event if necessary. We have the ability to call the sheriff if an incident were to escalate. We have our vet on call the entire duration of the event in case of an injury to an animal. Also, with Mexican rodeos being under the microscope, spectators and participants are more willing to call out someone if they see them struggling with their horse or behaving in a way that could become abusive. No one wants to see these events end because of a bad apple. In 2022, there was 19 rodeo animal show permits issued. In 2023, there was only 9. This tells me that the rules that are in place are working, and those that cannot meet the requirements are no longer holding events. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up I have Aaron Zito. Mr. Zito, if you'd step up, name and address for the record, please, and 3 minutes, sir.
Aaron Zito, 6735 Vista Greenway, Suite 300, Rockford, Illinois. Thank you. I represent a group of the Mexican rodeo owners here in Boone County. I've been made aware that there have been members of the public who have spoken out during public comment against the Mexican rodeo events over the past few weeks. I understand that this is a divisive issue and it is emotional for both sides. That said, I believe the county has set forth a process so that this matter can be researched, examined, and discussed in a thoughtful and reasonable manner by the ad hoc committee with a recommendation to be made to the full board. I would ask that this board allow for the process to take place and reserve any judgment until they have the findings and recommendations of the committee. There are a lot of accusations and allegations being made about the rodeo owners, and I ask that this board determine for themselves what's true and what are just accusations designed to promote a particular narrative. Reiterating what Gracie said earlier, I want to make clear that my clients do not support or condone animal abuse. They do support the fact that the current Boone County ordinance prohibits violations of the Animal Welfare Act and the Illinois Human Care for Animal Act. They do support a requirement of a security plan. They further support the requirement of an animal safety plan approved by a licensed veterinarian and requiring that a vet be either on site or available to be on site within 45 minutes. Rodeos are not illegal. Animal abuse is illegal. And I urge the board and members of the committee to keep this in mind as they determine a course of action on this matter. You do not outlaw the serving of alcohol because 1 or 2 establishments overserve or sell to minors. You do not outlaw industrial manufacturing because some establishments improperly dump dangerous waste. Earlier this year, the Saratoga horse racing racetrack experienced a number of horse deaths. The discussion was not about outlawing horse racing. The discussion was about suspending operations at Saratoga and investigating Saratoga. You punish those who break the rules regulating an activity. You don't get rid of the activity. Regarding the rules, I believe that the rules of the county currently has in place are generally reasonable. That said, I ask that the board be deliberate in deciding whether to impose additional regulations on rodeos and not to act hastily. I believe the county has regulations and processes in place that address the vast majority of the concerns being raised. I would argue that the board should let the enforcement of its current regulations take place as opposed to writing more regulations. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And finally, I have one more, Marion Thornberry. Marion, step up, your name and address for the record. You have 3 minutes, sir.
Sheldon.
Marion Thornberry, 528 East 8th Street, Belvedere, Illinois. I was going to read an article from Will County, but I changed my mind. I'm just going to comment on it. Will County has made an arrest, Ezekiel Herrera, for animal cruelty, and he is going to court for animal abuse, animal cruelty, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, he's going to court over it. So, and I think we all should have, Boone County should be listed along with Will County as preventing some of this stuff from happening. So far, we're not. 2 years we've been dragging our feet, even though the evidence is right in front of us. Steer tailing, people say that's an event that's supposed to improve your skills. Now, I don't call kicking a steer over on its side or skinning its tail a sport. Now, it may be in Mexico, but we're not in Mexico. We're in the United States of America, and animal cruelty in any form is against the law. Another thing too, everybody's been saying, take it to the fairgrounds. Ain't gonna happen, people. Fairgrounds is not owned by the county. It is owned by 7 Granges, of which I am the legislative director thereof. I'm also on the executive board at Pomona Grange, which controls the fairgrounds. The only way you're gonna get into the fairgrounds for anything is by renting it. That costs money. And depending on what kind of event you have, it's gonna depend on what kind of money you spend. There will be no alcohol on the fairgrounds. If there is, our requirement is you have the insurance and the liquor license. Without it, no alcohol comes on the Boone County Fairgrounds, period. At our demolition derbies, when we first started outlawing alcohol, we put a guard on a gate where they come in. And the very first time we filled out our little shack out there, you guys probably already all seen it. We filled it up 3 times with alcohol, every kind there was. The sheriff deputies probably got high way too many times that week. But that just goes to show you that the fairgrounds is not going to be an option unless you're willing to pay. Now, I don't know what else I can say. I mean, you people have seen what's going on in the county. Our state's attorney says she can't defend this and she can't defend that. Ladies and gentlemen, she doesn't have an option. We are the controlling, anything we pass, whether it's an ordinance, a regulation, whatever, she has to defend whether she wants to or not. If we get challenged, what we do necessarily, it's not necessarily going to get challenged every time. But if it does, her responsibility is to defend it whether she likes it or not.
Thank you, Mary. All right. Anyone else, public comment? All right, moving along. 7.1, the consent agenda. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda, please.
Move.
Motion by Mr. Mueller, second. Second by Mr. Schneider. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 8.1, Council on Aging. Ms. Patterson, do you have a report for us this evening?
I don't have much, really. They're just kind of finishing up after the 50-year anniversary and getting ready for Christmas and the holidays. Everything is kind of status quo at this point.
All right, very good. Anyone have any questions for Ms. Patterson? All right, seeing none, moving along. 8.2, Growth Dimensions. Pam is here tonight. Pam, welcome.
Thank you. I have a report that's I passed out in front of you. I just wanted to kind of draw attention to the economic impact. This year, 2023, it's been a record year, and I think as a community, we really need to pat ourselves on the back. 3.5 billion has been invested, and that's before the Stellantis announcement. That even at 3.5 billion, that's just amazing for a community of our size. And we've been competing with communities much larger, and their impact has been less than ours have for this year. That's 8.5 billion, does not include, that's primarily infrastructure. It doesn't include, the revenue that you'll see in years to come from taxes and sales and from sales taxes and property taxes and income, that you'll see in cannabis and gaming and all those resources that'll come to the county as a result. So some of these projects have been what we called, cloak and dagger was the Stellantis project. This was a nearly 5.5 billion investment over the next 4 years. It will include a battery plant with a joint venture partner, It would also include retooling or assembly, repurposing the current Belvedere assembly plant, and also include parts and distribution, what they call a MOPAR hub. It will bring in about 4,000 to 5,000 jobs, and there's going to be an increase in sales from that. So our gross domestic product will be going up as well for our region. We've also had some projects with an industrial project, automotive related as well in the Cherry Valley area. We've also had, they're proposing some significant water needs, and Cherry Valley met with them this week in order to address some of those requirements. We're also working with a data center that's interested in the Cherry Valley area. And right now we're doing some initial information and to provide them regarding processes and annexation and permitting. We're also working with the Chicago Rockford International Airport and the Billund Airport, the Danish consulate, the Rockford Area Chamber, and local businesses to develop partnerships for importing and exporting to Scandinavia. With some of these projects, we're starting to get a lot more international recognition. So there's a lot more partnerships that are happening, a lot more projects that we're seeing. So we're going to really try to promote the opportunity for the foreign trade zone and other incentives and ways to offset costs for businesses to do business here in Boone County. We've also, staff had also presented to the entrepreneur and enterprise zone information to the business owners at the Boone County Health Department's annual foods workshop on October 10th. We also presented to the core on the core components of workforce development for the economic development at the 2023 Basic Economic Development course. This is the third year that we've done that and been a workforce expert for people taking that class for the state of Illinois. And lastly, I wanted to share that we are still under construction on our new location at 982 Belvedere Road. We anticipate that be completed and we're moved in before the end of this month. It's pretty ambitious. So anybody's interested in painting, we'll have a painting party. We've had to cut some of those costs and do some of the work ourselves. So that's what we're doing. So anybody want to pitch in, please let me know. We do have a tentative date for December 8th for a open house and holiday party. So I hope everyone can come.
Anyone have any questions for Ms. Fettis from the Growth Dimensions? Yes, Mr.
On the gas station that's going in by 90, is that, what's holding that up? Is there, I mean, it seems like they've been sitting idle for a while.
Yeah, there was some supply issues. They had to wait for some parts. I think some of the plans that they had weren't up to code, some of the pieces that they put in, so they had to reorder them, and that put them, delay the process. They indicated to me that they'll be done by the end of the year. They're looking to put a mural on the side, so we're connecting them to the mural committee and trying to start that process. They're going to be working during the winter. They'll be working on the inside.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Mr. Larson.
Thank you. On your sheet you have supplied for us here, there's 2 times mentioned people are looking at water requirements, one significant. Do we know like how much water we can actually take out of our county a year?
That's a very good question. So there's a lot of engineers and experts, a lot more educated working on that. That has been a question, especially with this one project in Cherry Valley. Some of the battery plants do take significant water, some more than others, depending on what processes that they include there. So this one in Cherry Valley, I think will be taking more than the one that we are planning on with the Stellantis project. These are separate projects. These are not the same ones. Data centers also take a lot of water for cooling. So yes, it will take an investment of water, and we did have talked to the state and said that in order to supply this to businesses, there needs to be an investment from the state. there needs to be grants in order to offset the cost of the local area in order to provide that. But yes, they are looking at it and making sure that it's not taking away from other services and the quality of life here in Boone County. Yeah, that's, and I told them if you get to the point where you feel, that we can't provide that, or that it might jeopardize that, then we need to sometimes walk away from our project.
Anyone else? Questions? Seeing none, thank you very much, Pam.
Thank you.
Moving on, 8.3, CASA. Mr. Curry, have anything for us tonight?
Just a few things. We're serving 96 children this year. The next advocate training is going to be in January. The giving tree is going to go up at Planet Fitness on November 27th, and we'll be collecting diapers, wipes, and baby formula for the baby bank. And a thank you to the FFA at Belvedere High School and the National Honor Society at Belvedere North High School, who are also joining in to do that nice giving tree. So that's it.
Okay, very good. 8.4, Region 1 Planning. I attended meetings this morning. A lot surrounding the issue with the impact of housing that the potential Stellantis project's going to have. A lot of discussion about where homes are going to be built, where we have idle property that maybe took a hit back in when the recession hit. Those housing projects, getting those back in line and making sure that we have adequate housing availability for the employees that could potentially be impacting our area. So a lot of good discussion on that. So other than that, not much else for R1. Anyone have any questions? All right, we're moving along to new business. 9.1, I need to entertain a motion to approve the reemployment agreement with Catherine Cook.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Larson, seconded by Mr. Thornberry. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, I believe we'll need a roll call vote on that one. Yep. All right, Madam Clerk, if you would call the roll for 9.1, please.
All right. Ryan Curry,
Yes.
Ray Larson,
Aye.
Brent Mueller,
Yes.
Ryan Schneider,
Yes.
Carl Johnson,
Yes.
Alyssa Patterson,
Yes.
Tom Walberg,
Yes.
Sherry Branson,
Yes.
Dana Logston,
Yes.
Marion Thornberry,
Yes.
Ronnie Riley.
Yes. All right, motion carries. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Look forward to getting Catherine back to work. 9.2, motion, I need a motion to approve the proposal from Cerioni Piping for the installation of the attic access doors in the County Animal Services Building.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Branson. Second? Second by Mr. Schneider. Any discussion? Yes, go right ahead.
I apologize that this was not at committee last week. We did not receive the second quote until after the agenda was already published. As you may or may not know, this is, and Rick's here to speak to it as well. The attic access doors for some reason were missed. I think they were on the plans but never installed in the Animal Services Building. So obviously this is a hazard and needs to be completed. Especially, I think this is supposed to be done before the new HVAC unit gets installed as well, which is supposed to take place early this spring. It was kind of difficult for us to get quotes. We had one from Cerioni to complete the entire project. We received the second quote from Barcol, but there were certain parts of the project that they were going to have done by other people, or we were going to have to find somebody else to come in. Even though they're lower, it did not include the entire scope of work that needed to be completed, which is why we're recommending the proposal from Cerioni. And Rick is here to speak to it if there's more in-depth questions.
I guess I should have added to that motion when I made it, that the total price on this project is $6,805. So with that, okay, just to add that to the motion?
If it's okay with the person who.
Is that all right with the person that made the motion? Mr. Larson?
I thought it was Sherry.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Branson.
It's fine.
That's fine, okay. And who was the second?
Mr. Schneider.
Mr. Schneider was the second. That all right? All right, very good. Okay, any other discussion on this proposal? Mr. Curry?
Was the bid shot back to Barcol and asked to include the entire scope of work and then bid correctly? Or did we just assume that it was going to be more?
Mike from the maintenance department spoke to them, and the work that they left out of theirs, they don't do that.
Oh.
It wasn't an option, and they specifically mentioned Cerrone needing to do that. So, and Cerrone.
They recommended them?
There were other items regarding the HVAC system that have been before the board in times past that have already been approved. We had contractors on site to do that work and then got stopped because of the absence of this door. And so in order to install equipment that we've already paid for and is waiting in a warehouse, this has to be done. And Cerrone has to be taking up that extra work, I guess. Barcol will not do that.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Any other discussion? Mr. Johnson?
First, a comment. It's frustrating that if this was on the plan, the project was approved and they weren't installed. It makes me so much happier that we picked the architect we did to produce this project for us, and that's a whole nother long issue, but anyway. Who else did we request proposals from?
Barcol and Cerrone were the ones that we reached out to. I reached out to them with the assistance of the maintenance department. They were the ones that were specifically recommended to me to contact.
So I guess I sound like a broken record. Barco does doors. I mean, that's what they do. Garage doors mainly, that kind of stuff. These are access hatches and HVAC stuff and things like that. So I'm frustrated that we did not reach out to one of the many other HVAC companies in this region. There's Miller Engineering, there's Nelson Carlson, there's Helm. I mean, we could have reached out to any of these individuals that do this kind of work to get proposals. I'll say it again. I think Cerrone is a fantastic company and they do a ton of work and they help out the county. We have got to make sure that we start paying attention to the people's money and start getting bids and information. It's unfair to Cerrone to throw this bid out here in public and then go out and ask other people to bid on it now that their bid has been made public. But it's like we have this aversion that we don't want to step on Cerrone's toes. It's not our money. I've got my favorite contractors that I call and have do work at my house. But this isn't my house. This is everybody's house. This is taxpayer money. We have to pay attention and we have to start doing this in the right way. And the fact that, okay, there's a second price from somebody not qualified to do this kind of work. That's so frustrating to me that we've brought this up. I brought this kind of stuff up, that brought this kind of stuff up, and then we seem to just do what we want to do, and then we throw this bid out here, and now Cerrone's at a disadvantage because everybody can look at it and go, wow, they bid this much, I'll bid it by $1 cheaper, and I get to work. It's not fair to Cerrone. It's not fair to those companies. Had we reached out to those companies and they said, look, we're not interested in doing it, okay. But at least we did that effort. We didn't even do that effort. And I'm frustrated by that. I think we have to be better at what we do to make sure we're doing right for these projects. I just do. That's how I feel.
Okay. Mr. Thornberry.
Am I looking at two different bids here? Cerrone and Barco?
Correct, sir.
Why are we taking the highest bid instead of the lowest?
Just talked about that.
Okay,
Barco can't do the whole job.
There's work that Cerrone put in their bid that Barcol did not. And it's because Barco will not do some of that extra work. Cerrone is including installation of catwalks inside the attic space. In additional to that, cutting in and installing, cutting into the firewalls in the attic space and installing fire doors in them as well. The assumption is that the builder didn't install the exterior access door, that they probably didn't install the access doors that are in the attic space as well. And I did bring the prints and I have some photographs. If anybody wants to look at them, I'm happy to lay them out up here before you take up the matter on a vote.
So just
in that case, why are we even looking at Barco if they can't do the complete job? We shouldn't even see this.
We wanted to get a competing bid. It's not a small amount of money, and in the interest of using the public's money, we wanted to find out if the price, was fair.
a quick question, and maybe I didn't quite hear exactly what you were saying. Sometimes you're a little soft. It's hard for me to hear you.
Sorry.
That's okay. What you were saying when you were describing the repairs that needed to be taken place, is this something that was wrong with the building in the beginning? Or is this something that created a problem as time went on? Or is this something that was missed way back when? Can you comment? If you can't comment on that, I understand.
No, I can explain it to you. Mr. Johnson was here a few years ago, Mr. Curry. Some of you may not be aware. We have a couple of HVAC systems. One of them services just the 2 dog wards. And because the water out of the boilers comes out at about 150 degrees, it creates a lot of steam in there, and it has worn that HVAC system that services those dog wards. And so after only 7 years old, it has to be replaced. That was approved by a previous board. Additionally, to prevent the premature wear of the next HVAC system, the plan was to install vents in the ends of the 2 dog boards. They'd run on a timer and exhaust the air for 90 minutes after each time we clean. That would keep the steam out of the wards and prolong the life of the next HVAC system. And when the contractors were on scene to install those vents and the new HVAC system, they went up on the roof to begin work and discovered that the prints show an access door, 3x3 door, to allow workmen to get in there. Not there. It's on the plans, did not make it on the schedule in the back of the plans. I brought them along if anybody wants to look at them.
Right.
One thing I would add also, regards to Mr. Johnson's comments, Ms. Tobin and I discussed this at length, and one thing that we're feeling pretty strongly about is going back to the builder. Hopefully, try to recover some funds there. They should have done this at construction, and
sounds like it was
something that we need to pursue. Whether it works out, that we definitely need to look at it.
Yep, sounds like something that we missed a while back. I'm sorry, Ryan, can you hold on a minute? I think.
I was just going to ask.
Okay.
You just covered it right there.
All right, Ms. Tobin, do you have some comments?
I was just going to say that this has been going on since I started. Maintenance has kind of taken the lead on it because that's their job. We lost our lead maintenance. We were halfway through. We thought it was going to have to go to bid. That was, when Ted was still here, that's what we were working on. We thought it was going to be expensive enough that we needed to do a formal bid. We had a hard time getting contractors to actually come out and look at it, was my understanding from Ted and from Mike. Didn't you have a few that didn't show up or would come and couldn't quote it?
I contacted people
Yeah,
who've
we
been
did.
interested in looking.
Yeah. So then Cerrone came out and quoted it, and we were surprised by the actual low cost of it. We thought it was going to be excess of 20,000, and we were going to have to go to bid. So that's why you're looking at it. We were trying to get it done before winter. so that the new HVAC system could go in. We can definitely try and go back and find more companies to come quote it.
I'm gonna go back real quick to the work that needs to be done. So in the plans, there's inside the attic spaces, there are the 3x3 access doors that go into the 2 dog wards and into some of the other areas. The assumption is that because the exterior access door wasn't installed, that the interior ones probably weren't either. And Cerrone is accounting for that in their quote. In addition to that, building catwalks in the attic spaces to get to those doors.
Anybody else? All right, there is a motion on the floor and a second. So we will move forward with a roll call vote.
What number?
This is 9.2, Madam Clerk.
9.2?
Yes.
Okay. Ray Larson,
Aye.
Brent Mueller,
Yes.
Brian Schneider,
Yes.
Carl Johnson,
Oh.
Alyssa Patterson,
Yes.
Tom Walberg,
Yes.
Sherry Branson,
Yes.
Dana Logston,
Aye.
Marion Thornberry,
Yes.
Ronnie Riley,
Yes.
Ryan Curry.
Yes.
Okay,
That's everybody. All right, motion carries. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
you're welcome.
On to 9.3, I need a motion to approve the engagement letter from Whipfly. Dang it. For the fiscal year 2023 audit services. Get a motion for that, please?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Curry.
Second.
Second by Mr. Thornberry. Any discussion? Buddy?
I can.
All right, we will, seeing no discussion, we will ask for a roll call vote. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Brent Mueller,
Yes.
Brian Schneider,
Yes.
Carl Johnson,
Yes.
Alyssa Patterson,
Yes.
Tom Walberg,
Yes.
Sherry Branson,
Yes.
Dana Logston,
Yes.
Marion Thornberry,
Yes.
Ronnie Riley,
Yes.
Ryan Curry,
Yes.
Ray Larson.
Aye.
Okay,
Motion carries. Thank you.
you're welcome.
All right, moving to 10.1, administration. Mr. Larson, if you would call your motions, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. 10.1, a motion to approve the request of $10,000 of ARPA funds to be donated to the Rock River Valley Blood Center to assist in the purchase of a bloodmobile.
All right, motion by Mr. Larson, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Thornberry. Any discussion? I just have one comment, and I made it at the committee meeting. Again, with the ARPA funds, those are funds that are directed towards us here in Boone County. I have absolutely no issues whatsoever with the blood bank. I think we should all roll up our sleeves and do what donation, either blood or cash wise we can. As it was brought up earlier in this meeting, this is taxpayer money, and I have an issue with that as far as these ARPA funds go. But of course, it's the board's decision, so that's just my opinion. So, anyone else? Ms. Patterson?
I would just like to say, as commented in the last meeting by the gentleman from the Rock River Valley Blood Center, when you're talking about it having an effect in Boone County, he mentioned that we took all of their O negative blood during the tornado. I think that is proof in and of itself that that blood center is benefiting Boone County. So therefore, I will again be voting yes for this.
All right. Anyone else? Ms. Branson?
I have no qualms with the charities that come before us. I think we've seen some great charities. But as I've said it before, and I'll say it again, our government, our county government did not elect us to choose which charities we give to and which charities we don't give to. It's not our place And I think it is very wrong to take and be giving away money and then asking to increase our levy. Especially on the same night. I think that is just wrong. And I say that as somebody who has received many units of blood. When I was hit by the plow and I was laying on the street, my hemoglobin dropped from 13 something to 6. And I would have died without having you there. And I'd be more than happy to donate to you privately, but I don't think it is the business of the county government. That was not what we were elected for, and I will be voting no.
Anyone else? Mr. Thornberry.
I have said this a number of times, and you can look it up in the dictionary if you want to. A blood center is not a charity. It is a life-giving substance that we all carry within our own bodies. And if without it, you don't live very long. And in some cases, you could die within minutes, seconds. So to call a blood center a charity organization just turns me green, because a charity organization doesn't save your life. It simply gives you luxury. Blood centers are not a luxury. They are a necessity. Without them, you don't survive. If you need blood and a blood center is not around you, too bad, Charlie, you're done.
Anyone else? All right, seeing no other discussion, Madam Clerk, can you call the roll, please?
Brian Schneider,
Yes.
Carl Johnson,
Yes.
Alyssa Patterson,
Yes.
Tom Walberg,
Yes.
Sherry Branson,
No.
Dana Logston,
Aye.
Marion Thornberry,
Yes.
Ronnie Riley,
No.
Ryan Curry,
No.
Ray Larson,
No.
Brent Mueller.
Yes.
That's enough yeses, right? I'm sure.
I had 7 yeses
That's fine.
and
Okay,
4 nays.
that's fine. All right, very good. Motion carries. All right, Mr. Larson.
Item 10.2, a motion to amend the Boone County Public Comment Rules and Procedures Policy as presented.
Motion by Mr. Larson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Logston. Any discussion? Mr. Curry.
I just appreciate, the discussion that happened in public comment. I have a hard time thinking this is destroying a First Amendment when we are able to comment and speak freely. I think 3 minutes in presenting, if that 3 minutes starts when you set your equipment up, I don't see how 3 minutes would be any amount of time to display or present in a public comment. Same time, that's your prerogative. So I'm torn with it. I appreciate those who died and fought for these rights that we have. I think an infringement on our First Amendment would be telling you can't comment and taking public comment out. I guess there are different avenues and different options, I guess, that kind of curtail those. So I do see your argument. I don't know. Hearing someone that works in IT and kind of understands this, he said up here it is a security issue. Are there ways around that? I'm not against listening to those ways and trying to find solution. I think there's probably an answer to this that we can all agree on, whether that we buy our own equipment, but then people are upset that it doesn't go on the feed or can't be viewed on the board. So there's that argument. I think there's just a lot of layers to this. This was never an issue in the history of this board until now, and I don't know, it's frustrating, I guess, that we have to waste time on changing these things, and I don't know. I'm torn.
Anyone else? Mr. Thornberry.
Sometimes I wonder why I ran for this position. Boone County doesn't want to pass laws that prevents illegal activity. The rodeos themselves have been called illegal in every aspect of the law. Yet we don't want to do anything about it, unlike Will County and a few others. And here we are talking about limiting the public's availability to gathered evidence that proves the activity is illegal. Now we don't want to let them see it either, even though we got a young lady out here who did her homework and went out and done a little research on the counties around us, and they all seem to allow it, yet we don't want to allow it. What is wrong? Are we backwards? Do we live in Arkansas or somewhere? This is Boone County. We're supposed to be intelligent. We're acting like we just got out of kindergarten with a lot of lacking intelligence.
All right. Anyone else? Mr. Larson.
I just want to point out how it's going to be changed. Last point on it. Members of the public and county board members shall not be allowed to use the county audio visual equipment and other than the microphone provided for the speaker's use. So I guess then the staff can still use it during public comment. That's what I'm reading there, so I don't know. Point that out.
I don't know that staff uses it during public comment, but.
I mean, typically staff would not talk during public comment.
Well,
I would.
Just like what happened earlier this year.
Well, that wasn't a staff member.
I'm just pointing out that it's.
I mean, we consider members of the
There's
public at that time.
Staff is somehow.
Want to amend it and put staff in there? You could do that too.
If you guys want to pass it like it is, I would expect that everybody is.
That's what be the expectation is that.
It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Mr. Johnson, do you have a comment?
I think staff would be considered a member of the public if they were to sign up for public comment. I think that would be their
county board member.
Hang on.
I'm just saying.
So
I agree with that as well, but the board wanted to add county board members specifically. So that was originally it said all members or that people could not, and then it got divided into the two groups.
Anyone else? Mr. Thornberry.
I believe that phrase was put in there because there were some arguments about Elisa having access, but everybody else being denied simply because she was a board member. So that's why it got put in there, because they're referring to it as a board member because of her.
And I'm just going to make one further comment. In March, I have said it many times that I let that go through. I've owned up to that. That was a mistake. And I've tried to do everything I can to rectify that mistake. I brought it up before the next committee meeting in April, taking full responsibility for it. So that's why we wrote this. That's why we changed some of the wording in this public comment rules. That's where this is all coming from. So I don't think there's anything that we haven't discussed in committee here. So anyone else have a comment? Mr. Curry, please.
So, I mean, if somebody wanted to present a PowerPoint or a video, their 3 minutes would start as soon as they stand up. They would have 3 minutes to bring their equipment up, to plug into whatever they need to present, or they would send it ahead of time through an email or something to us, to Becky or someone that would have to play it. Is that,
Well, that had been discussed, but we had Joel here was our IT person from the county and he gave us his, that's where I'm coming from. I'm trying to follow the recommendations that the professional staff that we have on site. So not to argue with anyone that made public comment on this matter earlier. I'm just going by what we were told as a board by our professionals that run the IT department here at the county. Anyone else? Mr. Logston.
Okay, so first of all, I'd like to issue an apology to anybody with friends or family or anyone from Arkansas. No, but I think we've already got the
we've already got the homework started on what the other counties are doing. So it might not be the worst thing in the world to maybe just kind of like follow up a little bit more on how they're actually handling these kind of requests. So that we might be able to come up with something before we just kind of like ban it. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to maybe taking a little drive down to the county board rooms of, the counties that are on that list. And just kind of finding out how they do it so that, we could make a better educated decision. I mean, the homework's already halfway done for us. So that's all.
Okay, one thing I want to mention too, this is an amendment to policy, correct? All right, so if there's tweaks to be made on it later on, we can certainly do that. I was just at this point, I think what we were trying to do is just get something so that we don't have to deal with the issue at this point, making sure that the network is safe and secure. We can always make changes to this later on as well, but this kind of gets us into a position where if we need to keep looking at it, we can. But we need to make these, I'm suggesting we move forward with the motion that's up and get this thing, at least this part of it behind us so that we can move forward if we need to, and certainly look at it again at a future date. Anyone else? All right, seeing none. As far as the motion that's on the floor right now, all those in favor, aye? Aye. All those opposed, same sign?
Aye.
Okay, I think the motion fails then, so. You can do a roll call, sure.
Okay.
Madam Clerk, would you mind doing a roll call, please?
Carl Johnson,
Yes.
Alyssa Patterson,
Yes.
Tom Walberg,
Yes.
Sherry Branson,
No.
Dana Logston,
No.
Marion Thornberry,
No.
Ronnie Riley,
Yes.
Ryan Curry,
No.
Ray Larson,
No.
Brett Mueller,
No.
Brian Schneider.
No.
Okay, yep, motion fails then. All right, very good.
Agreed.
Moving on. Mr. Larson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item 10.3. I motion to approve fiscal year 2024 holiday schedule.
Motion by Mr. Larson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Branson. Any discussion on the holiday schedule 2024? Seeing none, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign? Motion carries. Mr. Larson.
Item 10.4, I motion to approve the lease agreement for the Public Defender's Office.
Motion by Mr. Larson. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by, or seconded by Mr. Thornberry. Any discussion? Seeing, keep an eye on Tom there. It's sometimes hard to see. No, you're fine. All right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, if you call the roll, please, for 10.4.
All right. Alyssa Patterson,
Aye.
Tom Walberg,
Yes.
Sherry Branson,
Yes.
Dana Logston,
Aye.
Marion Thornberry,
Yes.
Ronnie Riley,
Yes.
Ryan Curry,
Yes.
Ray Larson,
Aye.
Brett Mueller,
Aye.
Brian Schneider,
Yes.
Carl Johnson.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Very good. Anything else, Mr. Larson?
That's all from the administrative.
Very good. All right, Finance, Mr. Mueller, if you would begin your motions, please.
11.1, motion to approve the claims with the understanding that Carl Johnson abstains from voting on all claims presented by William Charles, Northern Illinois Service Company, Corn, Maine, all claims submitted by the Boone County Highway Department, and all claims submitted by any county department regarding sewage, stormwater, construction, and excavation.
All right, motion by Mr. Mueller. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Schneider. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, if you call the roll, please, for 11.1.
Tom Walberg,
Yes.
Terry Branson,
Yes.
Dana Logston,
Aye.
Marion Thornberry,
Yes.
Ronnie Riley,
Yes.
Ryan Curry,
Yes.
Ray Larson,
Aye.
Brett Mueller,
Yes.
Brian Schneider,
Yes.
Carl Johnson,
Yes.
Alyssa Patterson,
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Thank you. Mr. Mueller.
Moving on to 11.2, motion to approve ordinance 23-25 annual budget appropriation and a levy ordinance for the fiscal year 2024.
All right, motion by Mr. Mueller. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Thornberry. Any discussion on 11.2? Ms. Branson?
Same thing I said when it came to the non-for-profit. Sorry, it's snarky. Forgive me for being snarky. But the bottom line is you don't increase the levy and give money away at the same time. And I know they're two different funds, but the public doesn't understand that. And I got a problem with it. And for that reason, I have to say no.
Anyone else?
I know.
All right, seeing no other comment, Madam Clerk, can you call the roll, please?
Sherry Branson,
No.
Dana Logston,
Yes.
Marion Thornberry,
Yes.
Ronnie Riley,
Yes.
Ryan Curry,
Yes.
Ray Larson,
No.
Brett Mueller,
No.
Brian Schneider,
Yes.
Carl Johnson,
Yes.
Alyssa Patterson,
Yes.
Tom Walberg.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, motion carries.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Mueller?
On to 11.3, motion to approve the agreement with Stacy Bixby for election services.
Motion by Mr. Mueller. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Second by Ms. Branson. Any discussion? 11.3. Seeing none, we will have a roll call, please.
Dana Logston,
Yes.
Marion Thornberry,
Yes.
Ronnie Riley,
Yes.
Ryan Curry,
Yes.
Ray Larson,
Aye.
Brett Mueller,
Yes.
Brian Schneider,
Yes.
Carl Johnson,
Yes.
Alyssa Patterson,
Yes.
Tom Walberg,
Yes.
Sherry Branson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Good, thank you, Madam Clerk.
You're welcome.
Go ahead, Mr. Mueller, next.
Moving on to 11.4, motion to approve the 2023-2024 CIRMA and access liability insurance proposal as presented.
Motion by Mr. Mueller, second, please. Second by Mr. Larson. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Marion Thornberry,
Yes.
Ronnie Riley,
Yes.
Ryan Curry,
Yes.
Ray Larson,
Aye.
Brett Mueller,
Yes.
Brian Schneider,
Yes.
Carl Johnson,
Aye.
Alyssa Patterson,
Yes.
Tom Walberg,
Yes.
Sherry Branson,
Yes.
Dana Logston.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Mr. Mueller?
Moving on to 11.5, motion to approve the low bid from lawn maintenance services for lawn care and plowing services to various county facilities.
Motion by Mr. Mueller, second. By Mr.
Second.
Did have the
All right, so I'm sorry, second by Ms. Branson. Go ahead.
Did we did it have the name of the company or the price of the bid in there? I'm sorry.
Okay.
That lawn maintenance service.
Yeah, lawn maintenance service.
That's the name of the company? Oh, okay, I wanted to make sure.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know that was the company name. I thought it was lawn maintenance. Maintenance services. Sorry.
You'll never forget their name.
You won't, ever. They're easy to find, apparently.
Okay, all right, so we have a motion and a second on the floor. Any discussion on 11.5? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Ronnie Riley,
Yes.
Ryan Curry,
Yes.
Ray Larson,
Aye.
Brett Mueller,
Yes.
Ryan Schneider,
Yes.
Carl Johnson,
Yes.
Alyssa Patterson,
Yes.
Tom Walberg,
Yes.
Sherry Branson,
Yes.
Dana Logston,
Aye.
Marion Thornberry,
Yes.
That's everyone? All right, very
Yep.
good. Motion carries. Mr. Mueller, 11.6.
All right, moving on to 11.6, motion to approve the low bid from DC Fence, the amount of $47,899 for the removal and construction of a new fence for the sheriff's storage on McKinley Avenue.
Motion by Mr. Mueller, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Curry. Thank you, sir. Any discussion? Mr. Johnson, do you have something? Oh, sorry.
Oh, just waiting to vote.
All right,
Preparing.
preparing. All right. No, seeing no other discussion, then, Madam Clerk, if you call the roll, please.
Ready.
I see so eager, Carl Johnson,
Aye.
There we go.
Alyssa Patterson,
Yes.
Tom Walberg,
Yes.
Sherry Branson,
Yes.
Dana Logston,
Have fun. Yes.
Marion Thornberry,
Yes.
Rodney Riley,
Absolutely.
Ryan Curry,
Yes.
Ray Larson,
Aye.
Brett Mueller,
Aye.
Ryan Schneider.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Mueller?
Moving on to 11.7, motion to approve resolution 23-37, Boone County engineering salary for 2023.
Motion by Mr. Mueller. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Branson. Any discussion? 11.7? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Sure. Ray Larson,
Aye.
Brett Mueller,
Aye.
Ryan Schneider,
Aye.
Carl Johnson,
Aye.
Alyssa Patterson,
Yes.
Tom Walberg, Sherry Branson,
Yes.
Dana Logston,
Aye.
Marion Thornberry,
Yes.
Ronnie Riley.
Yes.
Ryan Curry.
Yes.
That's everyone. Motion carries. Thank you. Mr. Schneider? Sorry, Mr. Mueller.
On to 11.8, motion to approve resolution 23-38, Boone County engineer salary 2024.
Motion by Mr. Mueller, second, please. Second by Mr. Schneider. That made it easier. Any discussion on 11.8? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Ryan Curry.
Yes.
Ray Larson,
Aye.
Brett Mueller,
Aye.
Ryan Schneider,
Aye.
Carl Johnson,
Aye.
Alyssa Patterson,
Yes.
Tom Walberg,
Yes.
Sherry Branson,
Yes.
Dana Logston,
Yes.
Marion Thornberry,
Yes.
Rodney Riley.
Yes. Motion carries.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Mueller?
That'll be it.
All right, very good. Moving on to special committee reports. 12.1, community building, Mr. Logston.
Okay, so like I said last week, or last time rather, I was going to have to give you last month's this month. So that's what I'm going to do. And I have a couple of updates too on that. So first off, they were talking about renting out the parking lot to just to people who were interested in renting the parking lot. Because of insurance premiums, safety concerns, the board is in agreement to table that. So I do not believe that people will be able to do that. We talked about the Illinois Paid Leave Act policy, and the idea was, if I have this right, there's just a tiny little bit of unpaid leave. It comes down to like 2 hours at a time or something for however many hours that you work. And we were going to talk and vote on that today. And I will tell you that we did vote on it and we did approve it. So there was that. Let's see. As far as the equal employment opportunity policy, we're all in agreement that the policy changes to meet the current legal requirements. And we're in agreement to have Julie Sullinger, our manager, look into getting some additional human resources support from an outside source so that we can flesh that out. Unfinished business from last time. I always told you about the cracks in the building and how it rains on the manager. It looks like the leaks have all been identified and repaired. So she's no longer experiencing like Chinese water torture at this point. We talked about the insurance policy and we voted on it. The director and officer's insurance goes into effect, or went into effect rather, on September 27th. For those of you that went to the Republican event that we had, you probably noticed that the floor looked really great. And that's because they finished that dip that was always in there because of warping. They did fix that. There's just a there's a little bit of some scratches and what have you from that gigantic event that happened just a few days ago. And so they're going to have to kind of redo the floors there. And also a new business, there's a 5-year plan that we're talking about to try to, they're looking for suggestions to the building grounds and just to see what kind of changes they could make, how they could, beautify. Some of the stuff has already actually been done. It didn't take very long. If you've been over there lately, you probably noticed that the grounds they're not in bad shape. They actually look really nice over the summer. One of the things, and I think Mr. Curry, this might interest you a little bit. So over in the Keenan Center, is that what you call it? The Keenage Center?
Keenage Center.
Is that where the memorial is for the veterans? Okay, I suggested, we were talking about it, that we move it to the community building so that it gets a little bit more traffic. And they're actually considering that. So that's one thing. What else can I tell you? Big events that are coming up, and I would be remiss in telling, for those of you who lived here for any amount of time, know that on the first Friday of every December, there's the hometown Christmas. That's where they put a bunch of trees in there, and you want to make sure that you go over there. There's special viewing on Thursday and Saturday if you can't make it on Friday, but Friday's the big dance so that you can go in there. And I guess they have like 100 or so different Christmas trees that I never get to go because I have a contract that I do with a school. Well, regardless, I've never actually been, so I'm just kind of telling you that they say it's amazing, so you should probably go. The following week, and we'll wrap on this, on December 8th, which is also a Friday, for either $5 or $7, they weren't exactly sure. There's a gentleman over there, his name is Dan Holmes, and he puts on a little show over the community center, and it's all for something called Helping Hands, which is something I never heard of, but maybe you've been before. Even more importantly is a big, gigantic Toys for Tots campaign that day too, on December 8th. So you get to, for like $5 or $7, you can go see a show, and you can bring some toys with you, and you can give them to children and feel good about yourself, because that's what we're all about, right? Anyway, that's the community building. I'll have more next month that I'm not allowed to talk about today.
All right, very good. Anyone have any questions for Mr. Logston?
It's a secret.
Mr. Thornberry.
I don't have a question. I have a comment about the Veterans Memorial that the Keenage Center has. I don't see that moving to the public or to the community building because it is a revenue source for the Keenage Center.
How?
For every brick that goes in there, they don't put these bricks in there. Someone has to come up and say, I want to put a memorial brick out there for my relative, past husband or whatever, and you have to pay to get it done. So it's a revenue source.
Who gets the money, Mary, if you don't mind me asking?
It goes into an operating fund for County Council on Aging.
Okay, Ms. Patterson, go ahead.
I just need to you're correct in that, but the maintenance and the damage that has been done to that memorial, the cost of that far exceeds anything that the Keene Age Center is making. So something needs to be done with that memorial. It's not in the right place. It's at the end of a cul-de-sac where nobody even knows that it exists. So somebody's gonna have to take responsibility for it. It needs to go somewhere where the public can enjoy it.
All right, good. Anyone else have any questions on the community building? If not, moving on, UCCI. Becky, you have anything for UCCI? I don't.
I do not.
Okay. 911 board, Ms. Branson. Ms. Branson.
Yes, we had our meeting this morning, and as you know, we had a rather distinguished guest here in Boone County not very long ago. And when we had our 911 meeting today, Sean Shadle kind of gave us an update as to how the events unfolded and who was involved and all that for the inner workings of having the president visit the wonderful Boone County. And he also collected some coins from things like the Secret Service, you know, like the medallions, like the military trades, you know what I mean? Well, you know, Ryan.
Challenge coins.
Challenge coins. Well, he collected a few of those, and anyway, this morning he was kind enough to bring them and show them to us, and it's kind of a once in a lifetime opportunity to see the stuff and learn what goes on behind the scenes. And so he talked to us a little bit about it, and I would encourage the board to maybe extend an invitation to him to come and talk to us maybe at our next admin meeting. And just, you know, let everybody see and share the coins and pass them around and hear about the behind the scenes workings of having the president come to your community and having a little short notice to pull all the inner workings together and work out all the Secret Service details and all of that. And so anyway, that was rather interesting. And the other half of the meeting was spent focusing on the 6th Street 911 Center. And as I told you last month, basically the hand-me-down equipment from the main 911 center gets sent over to 6th Street for a backup center in case anything ever happens and, you know, you lose power or whatever at the main system, you have any systems fail there, so you can still get your EMS out. And somewhere along the lines, it went from being a totally independent system as equipment was upgraded and all of that to being dependent on the main system. So it's no longer a separate system. And so they're trying to work out that. And every time they go in there to try and work on that, something breaks down. And even on the same day, you go out there in the morning and something's working in the morning, nobody's been there, nobody's touched anything. They go back in the afternoon and something else is not working. And to quote them, the building seems cursed. So anyway, it's a very expensive mess. It's a very technical mess. IT is working on it, and they're trying to get to the bottom of it, and it could get very, very costly very, very quickly. And it's a lot of technological stuff that I'm just not familiar with.
Been working through it though.
My pay grade. I'm not an IT person, so I'm just not. It's not my forte, but I leave it up to the experts and they'll tell us what we need. We'll figure it out.
All right. Anybody have any questions on 911 for Ms. Branson? All right, thank you. I missed 12.3 Community Action Agency. Anybody have anything on that online or anything? Nobody? Okay. Anyone on the phone for Land Bank by any chance? Nope, no Land Bank tonight? Okay. Any other committees have anything? Okay. Scheduled meetings. Mr. Larson, the next administration.
Mr. Chairman, the next administrative committee meeting will be December 7th at 6 p.m. in this room.
Mr. Mueller, Finance?
Next finance meeting will be December 14th, 6 p.m. That's right.
And the next full county board meeting will be December 21st, 6:30 p.m. in this room. Any other correspondence? Becky, you have anything else for us tonight?
I just attached one thing. Your county engineer completed a very intensive leadership program, and there was a press release. So I thought I'd pop that up there so you could see it. So I think he's been working on it for the last couple of years. It looks funny on this thing, I think, because I attached it as a word.
I don't know, it would look good.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay. So you can see it.
All right.
If there are any questions, Justin is on the line.
Okay. Anyone have anything for Justin, Mr. Larkin?
I just have something else. If
You have what?
Another comment, just finish with.
Oh,
everyone.
Okay. Anybody else? Anybody have any questions on this? All right, moving along. Larson, did you have?
I was just wanted to mention, I know the state's attorney's office and is like concerned about the videos being played in public comment. I was just wondering if there's going to be any further looking into anything about it, or what everybody thinks.
Did you want to make another comment, Mr.
I just want to say I agree. Like, I don't want it. I don't want the workload to come here. It needs to be the responsibility of the person. So I think it needs to be 100% responsibility of the person presenting, not our staff. I want to make that clear as to what, if it's rewritten, that it doesn't come to us to where we have, people that are already swamped filtering through everything. There needs to be, rules and guidelines on what, explicit material, anything else would be held accountable, but.
Mr. Mueller?
I'd like to make a recommendation that the IT does get just a small projector, that a thumb drive, anything can get put right on the front table, shown up there, because if our YouTube account is down, it's not going to be aired out on the public as it is. So this is all new stuff in the last 2 years. And like you said, Mr. Riley, for $150, we could have the equipment here for the public to show it to the people in this room. Very simple. It's a simple problem. I mean, we don't have to air it across the nation, but the words will be presented. I mean, this is your public comment, is you are commenting about something. So if you're using a video, then that's your comment to everything. It's not public viewing, it's public comment.
At this point, then, I think the consensus of the board is we're going to have to put a little extra work on staff again, kind of take a look at it, see what else we want to do. I'm going to encourage all board members, if you have ideas, if you have suggestions, can we filter them through your office at this point right now? Let the administrator know your thoughts. And if this is something that we can certainly bring this up at committee level again and continue discussion on it. So with that being said, I don't think we have any other business for tonight. We have no executive session. So I guess I'm looking.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion to adjourn made by Mr. Johnson, seconded by Ms. Patterson. No discussion. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. At 7:57 PM. Thank you, everyone, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving too, Chairman Riley.